Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 brands that always sell really quickly for me and really well on eBay. Probably my top 5 selling brands so far this year. And I'm also going to be touching on 5 brands that sell really slowly. While maybe they still sell or sometimes comps look good, they tend to sit for longer. They just don't sell as well for me as maybe they once did. So we're going to be talking all about that today. But first I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Guess what, you guys? While I was listing, I was multitasking by watching a course on Skillshare all about merch by Amazon and how to tackle that a little bit better. That's something that I have really been wanting to get into more this year. Skillshare not only has courses about merch by Amazon, print on demand, but Amazon, eBay, Etsy, everything else you can name, thousands of classes for curious learners. It's extremely affordable, and Skillshare has said that the first 1,000 subscribers to sign up using my link below will get a free month trial of Skillshare Premium membership where you can have access to any and all classes that you want. It is well worth it. I highly recommend it. I've been really enjoying it so far this year. I've learned a lot, and I'm excited to continue to grow my knowledge base on a wide variety of subjects with Skillshare throughout the rest of this year. So thank you again, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump into my content. Okay, let's get into it. What is selling really fast for me this year? What brands have sold the quickest? And I also have some honorable mentions for brands that might be similar that you could find. I did intentionally try to pick brands that you will see most often at the thrift or when you're out. You know, I could name brands that fly out of my store, but they're so hard to find. I never find them. These are more bread and butter items that you're gonna find more frequently, so that's kind of why I picked them. Maybe these brands don't always sell for a ton of money, but they do sell quickly, and that's something that's really important when you're running an eBay store. The high fun sales, the rare finds are really great, but honestly what keeps my store going are the very basic items that sell for $20, $30, $40 very consistently over time, including number 1, Nike. And I know that's probably obvious to a lot of you, but Nike is a really quick seller for me. I mean, obviously, especially the shoes, Air Force Ones in a unique colorway, always the Air Jordans. You know, look up the sneakers as you find them for sure. Depending on condition, if they're really beat up, that's a lot harder. I love selling Nike vintage, but honestly the more recent seasons are what I generally find and pick up more often. So things like full zip hoodies, jackets, track pants. Menswear for Nike does tend to sell faster for me than women's, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, Nike is one of my top selling brands this year. It just is a very consistent seller. Try to look for things that are more unique. The long sleeves, the full zips, hoodies, things like that. They do tend to sell great. And then of course vintage is great too, and you can just tell from an older tag. I mean, vintage Nike, that's like a whole video in and of itself, and I'm not equipped to share all of that right now with you guys. Nike jerseys are great. The Flyknit shoes are great. So anytime you find Nike and look at it, you know, I would say be cautious. The cleats, the mercurial cleats, don't always sell that great for me, or they take a lot longer to sell. Really, really basic items like the women's leggings don't sell very well for me unless they're brand new. Or full length, the cropped leggings, you know, you see those a lot at the thrift and they can be overpriced. Short sleeve tees, really basic things from Nike don't tend to sell as great or for as much, but the jackets, the hoodies, the good shoes, the track pants, anything like that will sell really well. And you know, even if it doesn't sell for a ton of money and you pick up a bunch of Nike, it tends to sell quickly regardless. So if you're getting it at a really good price, grab it, pick it up, and I bet it'll fly out of your store. Honorable mentions with Nike are Brooks shoes. I love selling Brooks shoes when I find them. I do find them quite frequently. And Hoka shoes as well. Hoka One, I think that's how you pronounce it. Those sell really great, and I do tend to find those at garage sales and thrift stores pretty frequently enough that I do tend to keep an eye out for them when I'm out. Next up, you're gonna notice a theme here, and a lot of it is activewear, outdoor wear. I do tend to sell a lot of that. It sells really well, it has a really fast sell-through rate. Patagonia, I absolutely love selling Patagonia, especially the hoodies, the fleeces, the zip-ups, the jackets. Menswear does tend to sell a little bit faster for me than women's, unless it's a jacket or a hoodie. Patagonia, really basic stuff doesn't sell for quite as much. Even so, it sells really quickly. As you guys saw maybe in my last yard sale video, I talk about picking up 2 Patagonia hats for a $5 pickup. They each sold for $20, $25 plus shipping. I'll always take that. Even like the vintage Patagonia tee that I got that had like bleach stains on it, sold really quickly for $15 plus shipping. So Patagonia tends to sell really quickly. But yeah, if you ever can find the patterned fleeces or the better sweaters or better hoodies, or of course the quilted jackets or the down jackets. I mean, those sell for a ton. Vintage Patagonia sells great. At a yard sale, I picked up some Patagonia shorts, but instead of the mountain pattern behind the Patagonia logo on the shorts, it had a wave pattern. And it turns out they were vintage Patagonia baggies shorts, and they recently sold for me for $75 plus shipping. So vintage Patagonia is great. Honorable mention along with Patagonia is the North Face. I love selling the North Face. I love selling vintage North Face Gore-Tex jackets if I can find them. The down jackets are always a really quick seller for me. Even the full zip fleeces, the full zips hoodies, regular hoodies, you know, North Face sells well. If you're gonna go into, I would say menswear again, sells quicker with these brands than women's, but North Face graphic hoodies, sweats, track pants, those kinds of things sell really well. We love outdoor wear, and I am in like the Rocky Mountains, so I do tend to find these things a lot. I think they can be found all over the country as well. Next up, this probably will come as no surprise, Lululemon activewear. So it's just, as I was going through my orders this year and going through some of the most frequent brands that pop up, Lululemon is just one of them. I wouldn't say it's selling quite as quickly or for as much as it maybe once did, unless it's a more rare print or a rare style, but it is always a quick seller when I price it right, and that's something I actually probably should have put in the beginning of this video. This does depend on if you're pricing things correctly and with the market. If you're pricing your things way too high, they're just not going to move regardless of the brand. So be careful of that. Look at the market value, look at sold comps and see what's an actual sold comparison that you can make with the item that you currently have that would make sense. I could pick up Lululemon all day long, and if I price the leggings always at over $100 or the tops over $50, you know, it's just not going to work out great for me. Honorable mention with Lululemon is Gymshark. That sells really quickly for me, and every time I pick it up I get excited. Gymshark and a brand called Zaia Active, that is a brand of activewear that's an MLM. When I find it, it sells really quickly, usually has watchers, and sells within a week. So love activewear. It sells great, again, as long as you price it correctly. Lululemon tank tops or maybe short sleeves or really basic items like that probably won't sell for as much as the full length leggings, the patterned leggings, the jackets, and the sweaters. Those tend to sell the best. Next up is a brand called Smartwool. Every single time I've picked this up, it has sold really quickly. And honorable mention to that is a brand called Mammut, M-A-M-M-U-T. Again, these are outdoor brands. As you can tell, like, I love selling outdoor brands. It sells really quickly for me. I would say this is probably a more rare find. I don't find it like as much as I find these other brands, but it sells well. You know, it never stays in my store for very long. Neither does Mammut. That also sells really quickly. If these brands don't sound familiar to you, I would go to your local REI and go look at all of the brands that they have there. And if they have a brand there, you're likely to be able to find it in the wild and sell it on eBay for a lot of money. Another honorable mention in this category is a brand called Cotopaxi. Those are usually brightly colored. Cotopaxi is a great brand to resell. So is a brand called Ultimate Direction. All of these, again, are usually at REI, and they just sell really quickly. Hydration packs, stuff like that. Every time. When you're out looking for yard sales or garage sales, or you're doing your research before you go out on a Saturday morning, if someone is mentioning that they are an outdoor enthusiast or have a lot of outdoor gear, that's a really good sign. This is like a hint, right? That they might have a lot of these brands, because chances are if they're an outdoor enthusiast, they like the store at REI and they've purchased stuff there before. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Last but not least, Birkenstocks have never sat in my store for very long, ever, even when they're super beat up. Birkenstocks sell really quickly. The brand new ones sell for over $100. The used ones sell for $40 to $50, and even if they're really beat up, you'll still get $25 out of them. So those sell great. Of course, I can't have a brand that sells fast video without mentioning Rothy's or Teaks. Have I ever found them? No, I have never been lucky enough to find Rothy's or Teaks. They are on my thrifting bucket list, but I can throw in Doc Martens. Dr. Martens, I don't know if it's like junior high repeating itself for me, but they're so popular and they always sell in my store really quickly. So whenever I find them, even if they're a little bit beat up, you can take Dr. Martens Wonder Base Balm. It's this really great product that you can wipe onto Doc Martens and make them look pretty much brand new again. You know, polish them up, make them look nice. Even if they don't, they will still sell. Dr. Martens in the Oxblood colorway or a unique color do tend to sell better. The higher up the leg, the better as well. So if they're the full knee boot, those will sell for a ton of money. But even if they're up to just past the ankle or calf height, those will sell really well. So So those are all the brands that sell really quickly for me that I do tend to find pretty regularly, and I hope you do too. I hope these aren't too out in left field for you. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and mention some slower sellers for me that just don't seem to move as quickly. I'll still pick them up, even though like part of me is like, these are probably gonna sit for a while. I think they still sell, but it's just not the lightning quick movement that I get with these other brands that I mentioned. First up is a brand called Joie from Nordstrom Rack. There's Joie and there's Soft Joie. They sell, like I just sold a jumpsuit for $50. I sold a dress for $48. So they sold, but they sat for several months before they finally sold. So that's why I tend to keep picking it up, because I'm like, someone will want this, someone will buy it. Same goes for like Theory. Theory is another brand that sold like at Nordstrom. It's retails for a ton of money, but it does sit for a while until finally the right buyer comes along. So I'm not going to tell you not to pick it up, because I just sold a Theory cashmere sweater for, I want to say $50, something close to that recently, but it sat for several months before it sold. So just something to keep in mind, it might sit for a while. Next up are Anthropologie brands. I mean, I think a few years ago, Anthropologie was flying off the shelves a lot quicker. Now it's just sitting for me quite a bit longer. So I don't know if like maybe the styles I'm picking up are older or just not as on trend. Maybe really, really recent Anthropologie will sell really well, but the older styles and brands like Sparrow, Maeve, Moth, even like Sleeping on Snow, which was one of my bread and butter like fast movers a few years ago, just isn't selling quite as quickly. So unless it's like a really unique Anthropologie piece or a unique brand within Anthropologie, I lately have been moreover leaving it behind unless it's unique and it looks interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I generally find a lot of Anthro. So if I'm finding like Postmark or those brands that I've mentioned, those Anthro brands I see a lot, they just don't sell as quick. So yeah, that's a lesson I've learned over the last few years. Trends come and go and ebb and flow, and Anthropologie just is not doing it for me these days. Then I've got Athleta and Zella. Athleta, I generally pass on unless it's like a really cool jacket or it already retails for a ton of money. It just doesn't seem to have the velocity that Lululemon or Gymshark does. So I have been passing on that lately. Same with a brand called Zella. It's an activewear brand sold at Nordstrom Rack, and it's fine. Like I still can sell it if I get it for the right price. You know, I might get $15, $20 out of something from Zella, but generally speaking, those items tend to just kind of sit for me. So I do just leave them on the rack these days unless again, I'm getting them for a really, really good price. But even if I do get them for a good price, I know they're probably gonna sit for a while. This next one makes me sad to say, because these two used to be like my best sellers just a couple years ago, and that is J.Crew and Madewell. J.Crew, I cannot move for the life of me unless it's like really, really recent, like that season. Same with Madewell. Otherwise, like they just sit, and I don't know what happened. Madewell used to just fly out of my store. It was like the fastest selling brand, I want to say 3 years ago. It just was moving so quickly, and now I cannot move Madewell hardly as quickly as I once did, unless it's a really unique piece, already a really expensive piece. The cardigans do okay, the jeans do okay if they're the right style. But yeah, it breaks my heart because J.Crew I used to find it all the time, and it was just such a consistent seller for me, and now I pretty much pass it up unless it is extremely recent and for a really low price. And then last but not least, I'm just gonna lump a bunch together in one category, and that is luxury. Luxury is so fun to find, right? Like, however, I've noticed on eBay, they tend to sit. Balenciaga, like I have found some really cool designer brands this year. And unfortunately, just on eBay does authenticate handbags, which is really good. They authenticate sneakers too, but I like only certain brands of sneaker. Pretty much any luxury that I've been getting this year, I've just been sending to therealreal.com. And even though they take a chunk of commission, quite a big one, out, I just feel safer sending it there. It sells really quickly, and they tend to sell it for more than I think I would be able to sell it for on eBay. For example, I can just give you guys this example. I have a pair of Balenciaga sneakers that I had on eBay for a while at a little over $500 or $600. And they got a ton of watchers, and I got a ton of lowball offers on them, and I even had a couple purchases that never went through, of course. And if you guys want to know why that is, go look at my eBay gripes video and you'll see some of the issues I had with that. But it just sat for a long time, and as I was packing up a Real consignment box, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna put the Balenciagas in there. Along with the Chanel sunglasses that I picked up at one of my more recent yard sale videos, I went ahead and I put those in my consignment box as well. Just because, again, like, I get nervous selling really high-end things on eBay like that. Not necessarily for the purchaser. Once a buyer goes through and if they have decent feedback, it tends to be okay. It's more for the non-payment that tends to happen with luxury. It's annoying, or just they sit for a long time. So I decided, let's move the cash, let's get it off to the Real, have them sell it. I keep the 60% commission and we all move on with our lives. So since sending the Balenciaga sneakers in, they have confirmed their authenticity and they are now listed for $745, and I will keep 60% of that, which is just about what I would have kept anyway if I had sold them on eBay, and now I don't have to deal with shipping, returns, any of that stuff. So here's to hoping they sell quickly. Again, with the Real, I haven't had anything sit for longer than like a few days, so I've been really lucky there. They have the right audience and their right eyes on their items versus eBay, which I don't know that they necessarily are known for, like, selling luxury. Okay, you guys, that just about does it for me. I hope this helped in some small way. I'm just literally sharing what brands I kept seeing come up again and again on my order page for this year. Things that sell quickly for me, things that I think will sell quickly for you, things not to pass up. Really the best way though, like, what sells for me won't always sell for everyone else. The best way to learn what sells for you is to get out there and try as many things as you can and get items for as inexpensively as you can, which is why I love yard sales and garage sales so much. It's really hard to make a mistake there when you are out searching and buying things for $1 or $2. Same with Goodwill Outlet. You can go there and pick things up for $1 or $2 and really test out what brands are going to sell quickly for you. I'm just sharing what I have observed in my store so far this year, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have experienced. Maybe drop some of the favorite brands that you have that sell quickly in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Brands also that maybe don't sell as well for you, that maybe once did. I would love to hear those as well. I love your feedback and I appreciate it so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. The best way to tell me is to give it that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you always are notified when I have a new video come out. Thanks again, you guys. I appreciate you. Take care, and I will catch you next time.